Good morning, everyone. You are in the Pill Method Club, and this is how to pay off mortgages in about 7 years. Oh my goodness, but we're not just talking about mortgages, we're talking about everything that you owe. We use credit to do everything that we need to do, but we're going to learn how to use it more efficiently. We're going to learn how to use that money just like the banks. Can you imagine that the banks are the biggest borrowers in town, and what they actually do is borrow our money. They make a whole lot of money using that money and then pay us pennies on the dollar for the use of it. Well, we can turn that thing around. We need to learn how to borrow money at a discount so we can get a big old benefit for it. But we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about ending financial violence. And I wrote an article a while ago. It's called The New Slavery. And oh my goodness, you want to pay attention to the new slavery. And what's worse is that the way that we're taught finances these days is so that the 2% can take advantage of the 98%, while the 98% believe they're doing well. That is the master deception. what is it? What is it that I mean? Can I give you just a quick example? Listen, folks, start getting some people in here right now. And if you want to see this example, please go to ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com. And I'm going to come back to this for people who come in later, but you need to see right now part of the reason why we're talking about financial violence is because we think we're getting a good thing when in fact we're getting a bad thing. All right. So I'm going to listen, I want to do something here. I'm going to put in so that you can see on the screen. We're going to get it ready. A 3% mortgage. So let me go ahead and get this ready to share. You want to see this. So we're going to share the screen right now so that you can see this. We're going to show you right off the bat here. How come this is called financial violence? And the reason why I term it financial violence is because we are led to believe one thing when when something is not true. We're led to believe one thing to be true when the complete opposite is true. One thing, here's what I want to talk about: lower interest rates. We're told that the lower interest rates are better when it's not true. All right, so let me show you something here. And if you want to see it, this is going to be great. Go to ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com. Thank you for the 6 shares that we have already. Please keep sharing it out into the hallway so people can understand that they want to go to YouTube and watch this so that they can see what we're getting ready to go, what we're getting ready to do. I'm going to teach you today, if you didn't know, how the bank charges all of us all of that interest. You're going to find out today. I'm going to show you right now. And for you that can't see it, I'm going to have you pull out your calculators and so that you can actually do this on your own. Okay, so go to an amortization schedule. You want to go to, even if you can't see this, if you can, go to an amortization schedule, Brett Whistle. And the guy's name is B-R-E-T. Somebody put that in the chat for me, please. B-R-E-T. First name, last name, Whistle. W-H-I-S as in Sam, S as in Sam, E-L. And then we're going to find his amortization schedule, his amortization calculator. Now, when you Google him, then other people, the other businesses try to get you to click on their stuff. But make sure the one you're clicking on is Brett Whistle's amortization calculator. It's blue and gold at the top, and the principal amount defaults at $100,000. So we're going to put a $200,000 mortgage in at 3%. Now, I will teach this. I will teach this if I can get, let me see here. I've got 6 people I got 6 shares. And we have 14 people in here right now. Can I get 4 more shares? Can I get 4 more shares? And if you want to see how the bank is overcharging you, if you want to learn how to do it this morning, put a number 1 in the chat. If you want to learn how the bank has been overcharging us since 1934, that means for 88 years, the banking industry has been providing mortgages and other loans using an amortization formula that's been overcharging us by 75%. Oh my goodness, here come the number ones right now. Here come the number ones, and they want to know how it's done. So go to ice10kvideos.com so that you can see it, or just listen in and or go to Brett Whistle and look at this. I got in Brett Whistle a $200,000 mortgage at 3% interest. And I'm clicking on the little box to show amortization schedule. All right. And the payment is $843.21, which is way less than you would pay in rent on the same size house or apartment. So that's how we get drawn in, folks. People, we've heard it before. Why pay rent when you can own? Well, you're not really owning until the loan is completely paid off. You are buying, though. So we're turning renters into home buyers. And every time you have a home buyer, okay, you're actually renting the money for a time. So you go from renting in a house to renting money. So we're going to talk about how the bank is teaching us and conditioning us to rent money for our entire lives, while in our back of our mind, we're calling ourselves homeowners. Here we go. All right, folks. So here's what we've got. I got $200,000 at 3%. First of all, we're going to find out that at 3%, the total interest paid on this loan for 30 years is $103,555. Folks, how in the world is that 3%? I'm going to show you how the bank turns 3% into 51% return on their investment. They are investing, and we are the resource. We're the natural resource that they're tapping. When you dig down and you find oil, or you find gold, or you're mining for diamonds, whatever precious resource you are mining for, it comes up dirty. It comes up mixed with other stuff, and you can't use it right away. Diamonds coming out of the ground, they look like white rocks. They're not polished. They're not anything. The facets aren't cut in them. They don't come out of the ground looking like they're in your ring right now. They're messed up. They're ugly. So what you do is you take it out and you refine it. So what the banks have done is says, listen, we don't make anything. We don't produce anything. We don't manufacture anything. What do we do as bankers that run the whole country? Because nothing operates, nothing runs without money. And the banks have the money. So they're at the top of the food chain. The banks are at the top of the food chain. And so if they don't produce anything, if they don't make anything, if they don't manufacture anything, what are they doing? They have to mine natural resources and then get the natural resources to produce an income for them. So what do? They have money, and they lend it out, and then we pay them interest. So how do they do that? They say, well, how can I squeeze every drop out of my natural resource? I need to lend them money for as long as I can for as much as I can and let them believe they are being efficient in this money's use. They believe that they're doing a good thing. While at the same time, we as bankers are making trillions upon trillions and nobody even realizes it. How do we do that? Okay. Are you ready now? Are you ready, folks? Oh, we got a few more people in here. I got up. Listen, I got like 10. Listen, here's what we've got. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. And I'm going to put my calculator on the screen so that you can see it as well. Okay. So we're going to clear this out. Here's what we've got. First of all, the bank wants to charge us $103,550.60 on a $200,000 loan. $103,000 on 200,000. How is that 3% when in fact you can see that it's over half? In fact, it's 51.778%. How does the bank get to charge us? Oh my goodness, we got Flame in here right now. We got Flame in here. We got Credit Goddess. All right, moderator. All right, and I need you all to watch the stage for me because I'm going to be so into this thing. I'm going to start out with this example, and then we're going to come back and do some moderator intros. But watch this, folks. Watch this. $200,000 at 3%, which is, I wish I had a 3%. But we're not looking at the total interest cost, which would be 103,555, which turns into 51%. How do the banks do that? Think we have a good interest rate at 3, turn it into 51%, and we think we've got a good thing going here. So let's take a look at this loan. When you make your very first payment of $843.21, $343 of that goes to principal and $500 goes to interest. So when you pay your $343.21 to principal, you're left with a principal balance on line one, $199,656.79. Now, I did this a different way, but Credit Goddess showed me another way to figure this out. Credit Goddess, are you with us this morning? Because if you want, I don't want to steal your thunder because you taught it to me. I don't want folks to think I came up with this way of doing it when in fact you taught it to me. So here, can you see what we've got on the screen, Credit Goddess?
Give me a second. Let me pull it up.
Okay. All right. So then when I'm going to let her take you through how all of this works. It's going to be amazing. So again, if you want to see what we're doing, folks, please go to ice10kvideos.com. That will take you to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and click subscribe. Would you please click subscribe, comment on the videos, because today we're actually recording episode number 121. 121. Wow. 100 episodes, 121 episodes. Credit Goddess, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. So, folks, here's what we've got. We've got, she's going to take us through how to do this, and I'm going to put a calculator on the screen so that you can teach us what's going on here. How in the world does the bank turn 3% into 51%? Go ahead, Credit Goddess.
All right. Okay. So what numbers are we working with, Don?
We are working with a very first payment. So we've already made the first payment. $343.21 is going to principal. We're left with the $199,656.79 on line one. We're just trying to figure out how the bank charges us all of this interest.
Okay. All right. So let's go to line 2 since we already made the first payment. So the way this works in what Don was saying, how, even though you were charged 3.5%?
3%.
Is this 3%? Okay. So a lot of people are looking for lower interest rate, but lower interest rate would cost you a lot more than a higher interest rate. How? Because you're being charged 3% on the remaining balance that you have left. Okay, so let's do these numbers. Let's work with these numbers here. $199,656.79. You're going to be charged 3% of this remaining balance, and this happens every single month. So every time you make your initial payment every month, they take their money out first, and whatever that's left goes towards the principal. So let's do the math. $199,656.79. Let's type that in the calculator.
So we're going to put that number in the calculator.
Yep.
Okay, $199,656.79. I got it.
All right. So let's write out this formula, because they're probably like, "What are you doing?" Mm-hmm. So the formula is you take the total balance and then you multiply it by 3%. And the number that it's going to give you is going to be the APR for the year. Okay, so then we're going to take the APR because we're going to want to know how much we're paying in interest for the month. So we're going to take the year, the annual APR, and then we're going to divide it into 12. And then whatever that number is going to be what the interest cost is. Then we're going to subtract the interest cost from your monthly payment, and whatever that's left is going to be the amount that's going to go towards the principal balance.
Okay.
So let's do that. So that's one.
I only have the one calculator. So we want to do
it's fine.
The interest rate first.
It's fine. Yeah, let's do that. So let's multiply that by 3%.
Multiply the number by 3%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay. I messed up. Hold on.
No, you got it.
Okay.
You got it.
199,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 656.79. All right. And multiply that by 0.03.
Yes.
By 0.03 equals $5,989.70.
All right. So that is for the year. Mm-hmm. So let's divide that into 12.
We're going to divide that by 12. Equals $499.14.
Do you see that on the second line?
What? So they're taking 3% of the unpaid balance every month, not 3% of what I borrowed, which is $200,000, because 3% of $200,000 is way less than the $103,000 that they want.
Right.
So what I'm seeing here is that I'm paying 3% every single month for 360 months. So it's not one mortgage, it's 360 separate mortgages.
Yes.
No wonder it is so much. Folks, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? So Flame, did you hear that?
I'm going over here going crazy. See, man, listen. We got 13 shares for the room. As you can already tell, they only in the room 15, 20 minutes in, and the value that you guys got. Listen, let's get to 25 shares, man. Let's go ahead. I need another 10 shares in the room just to kind of get the hiccup out of the voice. Can we go ahead and share the room to get to 25 shares? Can we do that? Credit Goddess just broke that down. Listen. Somebody need to wake up this morning, go put that rag over their face, and go ahead and shake things up, because it's getting hot in this room this morning for sure. For sure. Listen, I got 17 shares. Give me 8 more shares in this room. Come on, let's go ahead and get the part. Let's get it warmed up, man. Let's get 25 shares just to kind of breathe a little bit in here. You know what I mean? It's kind of getting cluttered. I need 25 shares to kind of get a little breathing room, because right now it is hot. Matter of fact, hey. Credit Goddess, you keep talking like that. You spreading COVID around here. You know that,
don't you? Monkeypox or something.
All right, so we're gonna finish the equation. So that's $499.14. You see it right there. right?
Yes.
So we're going to subtract the $499.14 from the monthly payment.
Okay.
What's the monthly payment?
The monthly payment is hold on, is $843.21.
Oh, $843.
Yep.
Okay, so let's type in the calculator $843.
Okay, $843. Okay, $843.21.
Mm-hmm.
All right, minus
And we're going to subtract $499.14 from that.
Minus $499.14 equals $344.07, which is my principal payment.
Yes.
So out of all of that money that I'm paying, only $344.07 goes to principal. And
yes,
every month, I'm paying 3% on the unpaid balance.
Yes.
So, but is that, is there anybody out there that was made clear to you when you got your mortgage, or were you thinking that low 3% meant that you're going to pay 3% on the $200,000 that you borrowed? Come on, folks. This is what we're talking about, the financial violence that's going on right now, because no one came out and said you're being charged 3% on $200,000. Nobody actually said that. You're just led to believe that. But also, nobody actually told you you're being charged 3% on the unpaid balance every month for 360 months either. They didn't tell you that either.
No, I mean, if they tell you that, you're going to be like, what? That's ludicrous. Like someone in the chat said.
Exactly. Somebody in the chat said, that's ludicrous. You talking about it says financial violence. You see, folks, listen, I've got this. This is why you want to read this article, because we're playing the game with two sets of rules. Okay. And I said that the powers that be understand money as multidimensional. It does a lot of things in a lot of different ways, and we're playing it in two dimensions. We make it and we spend it. We make it and we spend it. But the bankers are taking that and they're doing, they make it, they spend it, and then we're going to do a calculation that will allow them to purchase a home and their cars and their education, but we're going to do it in such a way as that they believe that they're getting this low interest rate, and then they're going to, my payment is low and I'm going to keep on paying this, but they have no idea how much interest they're paying over time. Let me take a look at this thing. Okay, because in the first year on this mortgage, the bank wants you to pay this loan down by $4,175.62, while the bank is receiving $5,942.90. I want to ask this question, folks. If you're working hard to pay down this low interest rate loan, quote unquote, if you're working hard to pay it down and you're only paying it down by $4,000 in the first year, how fair is it for the bank to charge you almost $6,000 in interest just to pay your loan down by $10,000? Folks, by $4,000, folks, that is $10,000 paid out. Okay? It says, where's that article Listen, folks, this is on my website, PILLmethod.com. PILLmethod.com. The article is published on my website, the PILLmethod.com. So I got more articles there. So if you read the article, you go all the way down and you see that there's more articles after that. So just click on it and you see that you'll be on the Pill Method website. And this article is called The New Slavery. Okay. The New Slavery. The new slavery is believing that you're freed from slavery, but you are in bondage, and the chains that are keeping you in bondage is your inability to figure out how the bank is doing what they're doing, so that you stay in bondage, paying them interest, paying them rent on money your entire life. That is the new slavery. That is financial violence, because it would be so easy to teach everybody these things. You know what's so bad about this, Flame? You know what's so bad about this, Flame? It's this. What would be wrong with a society where everybody wins, where everybody can make money? What would be wrong with that? Do you know what the main problem with all of this is? If I go to the country club, I'm paying to go to an exclusive club, all right, where I can hang out with like-minded people. Correct? Am I telling the truth here? Okay. So I'm making enough money so that I can pay the dues and I could go to this club. But there are people who are working at the club that can't afford to join the club because somebody has to serve the dinner. Somebody has to be the caddy at the club. Somebody has to do the work that keeps the club running. So here's my thing. What if the people who worked in the club understood how money actually worked? If they understood how money actually worked, do you realize that the people who worked at the club could also join the club? And then what fun would it be if the people who worked at the club could also join the club? You see, there's something about the haves and the have-nots. The haves feel better when the have-nots have less. But when the have-nots can start to accumulate wealth as well, then what is the fun in having all that money? Do you see what I'm talking about, Flame? Does that make sense? Flame, are you there?
I'm right here. I mean, because I want somebody to understand this morning, right? Sometimes when people are talking, right, my grandmother said something to me which she killed my nerve, and I'm going to explain this to you directly. She told me these words. She was in there cooking one day, and I went and I took the food and I ate the food, and she took my hand and she crawled her fingers up by my forearm, and she said, "Baby, sit down." She said, "Baby, I sat here all day long and I prepared this food. I did a lot of stuff to this food before you even ate it." She said, "Before you even swallow this food, right, what I need for you to do is I need for you to put that food in your mouth and I need you to swish it around. I need you to taste the food before you swallow the food." And the reason is because just like with Mr. Don and Credit Goddess is doing, sometimes you guys are getting this information in and sometimes you just take it and you just run off with it. What you have to do is you're going to have to take this food that they're giving you and you're going to have to just swish it around a little bit and actually taste the herbs and the spices in which they're telling you about for you to actually digest it and really get it into your body. And that's the reason that we have to sit here sometimes. And I need you guys to do that with this information. Man, it's powerful information and it's not made for you to get on the first time that you come around. That's why it's imperative for you to come in these rooms over and over and over, because what Mr. Don has created is he created a language which they don't teach anywhere. They don't teach this language and they're refusing to teach you this language because a lot of them don't. A lot of the people that you're asking to teach you this language, they don't know the language themselves. So welcome to the Don language room.
Oh, go ahead and Credit Goddess, please thank. And I want to thank you so much for breaking down just part of what we have to talk about today, how the bank is kind of letting us believe that it's a low interest rate, but they have turned this thing around to make it a very high interest cost. I'm looking at a low interest rate, but my interest cost means I'm going to pay back 51% of what I borrowed. You see, the thing is, folks, I couldn't do that to you. Okay. I couldn't say, let me borrow $10 from you. Okay. You couldn't come to me. You couldn't come to me and borrow $10 from me. And I would say, pay me $15 tomorrow. That's 50% interest. Okay. I couldn't say, you listen, I'll lend you $10, but I want you to pay me back 15. You would say that's highway robbery, but banking has done it in such a way that you're not understanding that you're actually paying 51% when you have that 3% staring you in the face. Folks, that is financial violence, and we don't even know we've been violated. What's up with that? So, Credit Goddess, please introduce yourself and tell the folks what you do. And then, Flame, you come in next and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. Happy Hump Day. My name is Rose Delore Lewis, also known as Credit Goddess, all things credit, and I am the official credit expert for the P.I.L.L Method crew here. I'm a credit score improvement strategist, so not only do I help you repair with my services, but I also educate on how to improve your credit. It's all about the education, like what we're doing here. Once you understand what is needed to be done, you would know how to maintain it and keep that going. So that way, you're always approved and never denied. I'm also a business credit consultant for any entrepreneurs or business owners looking to establish their business credit and separate themselves from their personal. Definitely is something that you need to look into. I'm also an educator at Be Free University, where myself and Flame teach credit. So, any of you guys interested in my services, you guys can send your name and email address to the number in my bio. Tap on my picture right here. And there's a number right at the top where you can send your name and email address to. That is 888-557-5778. Again, that's 888-557-5778. Thank you, Don.
You are so welcome. Flame, come on, man. Tell us who you are and what you do, man.
Man, it's Flame Newton, man. I'm the author of the School of Credit. Also the founder of Access to Money, which I call the real ATM. You guys, I teach about credit. I stay in my lane. I teach about all things in credit, personal credit, business credit. I teach only one aspect of credit. I stay in one lane in that, and that is actually going to the bank and coming out with actual money, where a $20 bill can actually hit the skin of your hand. So that's what I talk about. That's all I talk about. And that's the lane that I'm in. And so with that being said, thanks for having me, Mr. Don.
You're so welcome, Flame. Listen, folks, we're going to talk about more about this, but I've got a couple of paragraphs that I'm going to read to you. I'm going to actually have this on the screen so that we can actually show this. So I got to switch. I'm going to pull this over so that we can see this. All right, a couple of paragraphs here. All right, here's what I've got. All right, it's in the middle of my article. When the only difference between the two is the level of knowledge. That's still talking about the haves and the have-nots. Those who understand money and those who use money. Those who understand it at a multi-dimensional level and those who understand it at a two-dimensional level. Those that understand it at a two-dimensional level make it and spend it. Make it and spend it. Those who understand it as a multi-dimensional level figure out how to make it so that they're making a lot of money with it. Okay? All right. So here's the thing. There are few people who understand money. And the way that this works is that those who don't understand it will eventually funnel all of their money to the ones that understand it. Watch this. When the only difference between the two is the level of knowledge and the ignorance on both sides, I propose that those in the know want to remain the ones with the power of this knowledge and invent cunningly devised fables so that the two-dimensional players believe that they are being benefited somehow. While in reality, a new type of slavery has emerged. The one predicted in the Bible. The borrower is slave to the lender. When the game is played with the intention of keeping the 98% in the dark, then we have crossed over into the realm of financial violence. More and more ways are invented to gain more and more access to resources that can be exposed to the power of compounding interest to build wealth. We are being used as resources to tap. You go to work, you turn your effort, your labor into money, which I'm going to now figure out how I can tap that money so that you can end up paying me for the rest of your life to borrow it from me, because I don't manufacture anything. I don't make anything. I just lend out money, and then you pay for the use of that money. And I'm going to figure out how you're going to learn how to like it and love it, so that, okay, here's the main part. If I do this correctly as a banker, if I do it correctly as a banker, I will get you to victimize yourself, and you don't even realize it, and you think you're doing a good thing. Now, am I anti-bank? Not at all. I am pro-education because I love the bank. If you listen, I think everybody ought to win. There should not, when it comes to banking, there shouldn't be winners and losers. I think everybody ought to win. Flame, how many banks have you been in, man? Are you there?
That's a good question. And I can't tell you. There's no way that I could tell a person how many banks I've been in.
But Flame, when you listen, do you know of a way to go into a bank and come out with money?
That I do know how to do. Okay. I know how to do that. I know how to walk out of that bank with some cash money in your hand. That's one thing I know how to.
Okay. Flame, since you know how to do it, can you teach me how to do it?
For facts.
Okay.
Sure can.
All right. Here's my next question. Do most people know how to do it? How to go in and get the kind of money you're talking about?
No, they do not.
Okay. So if most people knew it, then the bank could win, and then I could win. And so here's the thing, folks, because of what we're teaching here, what Flame teaches, what Credit Goddess teaches, what I teach. Okay. Then people say, well, shouldn't the bank be upset? Because I'm teaching people how to save all of that interest. I'm teaching them how to save 75% of that interest that they don't have to pay. Flame is teaching them how to go into a bank to get money so they can level up their business. Credit Goddess is teaching them how to make sure that your credit profile looks good so that you can go in and get the money that Flame is talking about. So here's what I mean by that, folks. If we can level up and know this, then we can go into the bank and start to play the game well. And this is why is it because the banks would make less money? Is that why they're going to be upset? It can't be. That can't be the reason. Do you know why? And I'm going to tell you why that can't be the reason. Because if I'm making money, Flame, if I'm saving money, Pill Method, if I'm leveling up my credit so that I can access the money, Credit Goddess, once I do all of that, where am I going to keep the money? Where am I going to keep all this money that I have? Am I going to keep it in my mattress? Or am I going to keep it in the bank? Or am I going to put it back in the banking system? So isn't the bank still winning even though I'm winning? Credit Goddess Flame, what do you think about that? Aren't we both? Come on, Flame, talk to me.
Nah, that's exactly it. You guys putting yourself in position to win all the way around. Because if you listen to the method from the P.I.L.L method, what happens is the banks will be making money, right? We're not going to sit here and tell you that the bank's not going to make any money. The banks will make money, except for we're limited on the amount of money that the banks can make off of you. That's what this whole thing is about, right? And so when you start to derive from going from 51% to 3%, I mean, if somebody can't understand that, I don't know what else to explain to them.
Listen, folks, so I'm going to let me go in here and teach you some things that we have been taught to believe that is really financial violence. We have 45 people in here now, and I want to thank you. The only reason why we have 45 people in this room right now is because we have 20 shares. And I want to thank everyone who has shared. But all you new people, can we get you to share it just a little bit more? Can we get to 25 shares? If I can get to 25 shares, make some comments. Listen, and Flame, I'm kind of low energy right now. Can you pump up the energy for me?
Oh man, listen, I thought you'd never ask, man. Listen, you guys got to understand, for one, is that I need for you guys to do something for me right now, right? And that is, I need you guys to right now. I need to the chat, right? Because I think it's a even cause of going to the chat, right? And when you go to the chat, when you guys are going over to the chat, what it does is it provides the room energy, right? And how do you do that? Go to the chat right now, type in the number 9 for the chat. The number 9 does a couple things. When you push that number 9 in the chat, what it does is that anyone that comes in this room with negative energy, that number 9 is going to drain that energy. We put positive energy into this room, right? And I think that's one of the greatest things that we can do is pump the positive energy into this room. Who's with me right now? I want to find out who's with me. Put that number 9. Let me find out who with me. Let me go to the chat. Man, Miss Marla's with me this morning. Appreciate it, Miss Marla. Man, I appreciate that. Miss Lena, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Man, Makiba, man, appreciate you sharing the room onto your other networks. Thank you, Miss Makiba. That's Warren, I see you, big dog. I see you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Man, hey, do me a favor while y'all at it, while you down there. What I need you guys to do is to give me the city and where you from. Tell me where you from. I want to know where you guys are coming in from this morning, because right now I'm on the East Coast, but you know I live I live in the desert. So I follow against that Pacific Standard Time. So I know how early it is. I just want to find out who's up this morning, who's rocking and roll. ATL in the building, Dallas in the building. That's what's up, man. LA, you got up early too? Man, that's what's up, LA. St. Louis in the building, Baltimore, B-more. Boy, boy, boy. Hey, B-more trying to change some things around there. I see why you up. Louisiana's always in this building. St. Louis is here. You know what I mean? Greensboro, North Carolina. Man, I love it. I love it. As a matter of fact, I'm in North Carolina. Love it. Man, you guys up. Charlotte's in the building. You guys are just showing out and showing up, man. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Let's keep them things going. Let's keep the chat going. Let's keep sharing the room. Back to you, Mr. Ice.
Oh man, listen, Flame. I'm pumped up now. Listen, I want y'all to go back. I'm putting this thing back up on the screen so that you can see something that's very important. The reason why the bank has chosen this formula, because they make a lot of money with it. Now, because this is right here in front of us, it's called something that's being hidden in plain sight. Why is it that if it's hidden in plain sight, why didn't we understand it before? Because everybody is doing it and it's been accepted as the norm. Something that's been accepted as the norm, we go ahead and say, oh, nobody is objecting to it. My parents have a mortgage. My grandparents have a mortgage. I'm going to get a mortgage. It's being accepted. But I want you to take a look at all the interest payments here that start out at $500 and then go down to $499. Every month that these folks are making this payment, it's in the high 400s. And then, so I want you to see how long it stays at the $400 level in paying interest every single month. I mean, you're just giving the money away. Okay. It's like buying gas. It's like buying gas at $3 a gallon. Okay. And only $1 is actually of that gas is being pumped in. You're paying $3, but you're only getting $1. You're paying $3. So $2 is just being thrown away. Okay. So here's what we're doing. We're making a payment here and $499 is going to interest. So it stays in 400s for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, $400 a month thrown away. 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9.5 years. Paying on this, it stays in the 400s before it drops into the 300s every month. Okay. And then the bank comes and says, oh, you're not giving us enough money now. So we're going to have to refinance you so you can get a lower payment. Okay. We're going to have to refinance you to get a lower payment. And then so that we can start this process all over again. So you're giving more of your money to us up front in the front of this loan. Miss Catherine Chance wants to know, what can we do about it? So what can we do about it? So let me show you some of the things. Let me show you a couple of things. And if you have to leave before I get to what we can do about it, just know that this is being recorded and you can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on LinkedIn. You can watch it on Twitter. And you can watch it on Facebook. Just go to P.I.L.L Method, find us, and it's being recorded right now, and it's up there right now. So I want you to know something, that it's important that people know this, and we want everyone to know. But just recently, folks, I met a person in Nashville, Tennessee. And he said, and he is somebody who is famous, who has used this method to pay off his mortgage in 7 years. And I'm sorry, in 4 years, he's paid off his mortgage. And then he gave us permission to put a commercial together so that we can send this out to the world. I need you to listen and watch our new commercial so people can know what's going on here and what they can do about it. Thank you for asking. Here's what you can do. Let's go ahead. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. Well, one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to pillmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today. Folks, we're going to be playing that again. And some people are saying, how can we see the video? You want to go right now to ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com, and that will take you to directly to our YouTube channel. If you want to watch it on any other platform, all right, so you can go to all the platforms that I mentioned. You can go to Twitter, you can go to your Facebook, you can go to your LinkedIn, or you can watch it on YouTube. You can just search P.I.L Method, and you'll find our page on all of those platforms, and you'll see the live broadcast. It is that simple. It'll be easier if you used a separate device, though, so you can still hear us on Clubhouse. And if you did that, you will be able to go to your tablet or your computer and search us out. But if you just want to go to YouTube, you can go to ice10kvideos.com and it'll take you straight to YouTube so you can see what's going on. Ice, the number 10, the letter K.com. Now, here's what we're talking about, folks. Here's what he was saying. And when I mentioned there, you can get a savings and earnings report. Oh my goodness. This is the most powerful thing on the planet, because the savings and earnings report will lead you into more education about what we're talking about. Would you like to know the month, day, and year you could be debt free? It is possible to know that. Would you like to be able to do it with your current budget, not having to make more money? Would you like to be able to get out of debt in an average of 7 to 9 years and not have to sacrifice lifestyle? I mean, cut back, like stay home, never go on vacation, eat beans and rice, cut up your credit cards, drive a 30-year-old car for, you don't have to do any of that. You can live well, cut your interest cost by 75%, and get out of debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. And that's all of your debt, including your 30-year mortgage. Okay, folks, go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and you will be able to see, we're going to put that in the chat as well. Somebody put that in the chat for me, ice10k.com. You go there, and then once you get there, you'll see a link that says get a savings and earnings report. Follow all of the directions. Once you follow the directions, then you will be led into a financial form. Put all of your information into that form that it asks for, all of your loans. Don't leave anything out. It's going to ask you a little bit about your income and a little bit about how much money is left over after all you paid all your bills. And my team is going to grab that up, and then we'll be able to produce a report that tells you the month, day, and year you will be debt free. The month, day, and year you'll be debt free. And once we get that, you will also tell you how much interest you can save. Oh my goodness. It is the most powerful thing on the planet right now, because it's the only program that ensures you that you will pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible. That's what we do. All right. So folks, so let's get into this a little deeper. How many folks we got in here now? We got 46. We're going to go into another something else. So somebody else. So what can we do about it? Here's a couple of things that you don't want to do about it. Okay. Here's a couple of things that you don't want to do. I was listening to the news yesterday, and on the news, they were talking about the interest rates going higher, and people start to panic when interest rates go higher. And they were saying, here's some of the things you could do. One of the things you could do is put a large down payment on a loan. And this is on a national news broadcast. Put a larger down payment on your home so you'll pay less interest. Absolutely do not do that. Do not put more down on your home than you absolutely need to. Put the minimum down, not the most down. And I'm going to show you the numbers why. Can you believe it? That listen, folks, we're in the fix we're in financially, not because we're irresponsible about money. We're in the fix we are in financially because of all the bad information there is about money. All right. And, let me show you a couple of things, and then we're going to let Flame and Credit Goddess chime in on what we're saying as soon as Credit Goddess gets back. Okay, listen. Let me show you here. Okay, so I've got this on the screen. All right, and we're going to change the interest rate to something that is what is going on here. We're going to change it to 6%. We're going to change the 200,000 to $400,000, okay, at 6% interest, because that's where the interest rates are, and they just went up another 0.75 of a basis point, so they went up 75 basis points. Okay, all right, 0.75 of a point on the interest, and here's what we're looking at: 6% of $400,000. Do you see that? And if we did that, now let's just say, now I got a guy who says, you know what? I've got an extra $100,000 I can put on this loan. Okay, so I'm going to put in another amortization schedule. We're going to do $400,000 again. No, we're going to do 300,000 at 6%. And we're going to show it we're going to put it here side by side. Okay. So we have $1,700 as a payment, $1,798.65 on 300,000 because we put $100,000 down on this loan. Okay. So we have $300,000 for 30 years, or we could do $400,000 for 30 years, but our payment is $2,398.20. Folks, I'm saying the $400,000 loan is better. Okay. Does anybody want to know how in the world the $400,000 loan is better? All right. And I'm showing you right now, I'm showing you some things right now that you can, so that you can understand what the banking industry is doing to 98% of us, thinking we're doing the right thing. That's how we're kept in this new slavery. This is what is called financial violence, thinking you're doing the right thing by putting your $100,000 as a down payment on this loan because of what you see here. If I have a $400,000 loan, look, the bank wants me to pay back $463,000 in interest. But if I put the $100,000 down, then the total interest that it paid is $347,000. $347,000 versus $463,000. Don, why wouldn't I put the $100,000 as a down payment? Here's why. Okay, because I want to have a $300,000 loan. All right. So, folks, here's what I'm asking, and I need you to put it in the chat. If I have an extra $100,000, but I don't use it as a down payment, I get the $400,000 loan. Where is my $100,000? Okay. Somebody says, can you repeat the link? All right. Oh, okay. There you go. Okay. Somebody put it in there. All right. Can you repeat the link to the website to complete the form? Yeah, it is at pillmethod.com. All right. So listen, folks, here's what we're talking about. Now, $400,000 here. I want a $300,000 loan. Okay. But I'm saying don't put your $100,000 as a down payment and then start a 30-year loan at $300,000. Here's what I'm saying. If I have a $400,000 loan, if I start out with this, where's my $100,000? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me if I start out with this $400,000 loan, where's my $100,000? Can somebody put in the chat? Where's my $100,000? Do I still have it? Do I still have my $100,000? Anybody? Yes or no in the chat? Okay. All right. All right. So now I have my $100,000. So what if if all I knew was to put my $100,000 as a down payment, what if I did this instead? I need you to take a look at the numbers. And if you want to see the screen, go to ice10k.com, ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com. There you go. Veronica said, my 100,000 is in the bank. Could I now, if I was going to put my $100,000 as a down payment and I still have my 100,000, could I add my $100,000 to the principal on this loan with my first payment? Is that something I could do if I wanted to? All right. So here's what we're talking about, folks. If I put my $100,000 down as a principal payment, do you see, if you're watching this, I want you to see column 3 on this amortization schedule, which is cumulative principal. And we're going to go down to, see, you can pay this loan down by $100,000 over several months, or you can pay it down by $100,000 all at one time. So if we put that $100,000 down at the very first month, let's go down to $100,000 as paid on the principal, and we are at payment number 164. Payment 164, and we've saved $290,000 in interest we never have to pay. And look here, we still have a $300,000 loan, don't we? But we're not starting out on payment number 1. We're starting out on payment 164. I'm going to put my calculator back on here. Okay, so payment 164, clear this out, 164, divide that by 12. Okay, click the wrong thing. 164 divided by 12 equals, we knock off over 13 and a half years off the loan, off a 30-year loan, by putting our $100,000 as a prepayment instead of a down payment. Put it as a prepayment. Never, ever, 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 ever put a large sum of money as a down payment on a loan if you can afford the payment, because you're going to save so much more in interest and you're going to knock a ton of time off the loan using the same money. If you use it as a down payment, you start at payment number 1. If you use it as a prepayment, you start at payment number 164 and you go on from there. Folks, does this make sense to you? And the reason why this is what I call financial violence. It's financial violence because the bankers know you're better off putting that money down as a prepayment, but they're not telling us that. They're okay with letting people believe that the down payment way is the way to go. Flame, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with this? Credit Goddess, could this be considered financial violence when the information is available, but those who are in charge aren't teaching it?
Yeah, it sure is, for sure.
So, folks, here's what we're talking about. We want everybody to know the truth about this, and we think we're doing the. Listen, can I show you another thing that has to do that we're being taught?
But before you
go ahead, Flame.
Because what you're doing is you keep sharing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mr. Don, I got to make sure, because one thing about our relationship is we be able to check each other on certain things. Right?
Yes, sir.
I think that's a great thing, right? But my thing is, before you keep sharing, because your heart is so pure at sharing stuff, right? But what happens to the room when they're not even wanting to share the room to the people? So what I'm asking the people to do right now, right? Let's have a pure heart right now, and let's share this room. Before Mr. Don even opened his mouth, let's get him 45 shares in the room. That's only 9 more shares in this room. I need 9 more shares in this room. I need you to push this in the hallway. As you can already understand that you guys are getting information, right? Let's go to the bottom, hit the share button in the room, right? And let's push this algorithm out there, right? He's doing way. I mean, you can't go on the Clubhouse and get this much information, right? And he's sharing you how to do this. So what we asking you guys to do is just do a return. Is that a bad thing, guys? Can we just return the favor? Since he's sharing information to us, can't we just share the room out to the people? Like, I think that's a common courtesy. Can we all agree on that? If you agree on that, man, go to the chat, put number 9 in the chat. If you agree on that, because you know that's what makes a relationship. You do something for me, and I do something for you. So what he's doing for us is sharing the screen, sharing us how this stuff is broken down. And what we're going to do for him is we're going to share the room in return, right? I think that's a cool algorithm, right? Let's share the room. Let's keep this thing going. Back to you, Miss Ice.
All right, folks, we got a new moderator on the stage. Miss Coffee Brown, how are you this morning?
Good morning, family. Prepaid down, but I just said, Lord, here we go again. Good morning, Don. I tell you what, Reverend Don today. Good morning.
Oh, Lord. Got another promotion. You need to stop it, Coffee. Listen, Coffee, we're talking about financial violence this morning and how we are playing a game that is 2-dimensional. We make it and we spend it. Banks are playing a multi-dimensional game where they are understanding how money actually works. And in the background, they're doing things to make money hand over fist while we think we're making good decisions about our money. And then they're just making tons and tons and tons using compound interest at our expense. But we believe we're doing the right thing. It's the new slavery. And I have that pinned to the top of the room. So, Ms. Coffee Brown, go ahead and introduce yourself to us this morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. First of all, Don, thank you so much for this fantastic, incredible room. I think you don't have church on Mondays anymore. Is that right? I must have missed that.
That is correct. And now that you mentioned it, I'm going to be speaking in Atlanta to high school students Friday morning. So we will not have a show Friday either. We're going to be back on Sunday, folks. So everybody is involved. I'm going to be speaking in Atlanta. So
I love
we're going to
I'll
have.
be in Atlanta the week after, so I'm gonna miss you again, Don.
Oh, wow. So we're going to be back. We're going to be back on Sunday, though. Okay, go ahead, Miss Coffee Brown.
Yeah, so I love that. I'm excited that you're going to be speaking to students. I mentioned that the last time that I was here in the room, and that to me is just confirmation that the future is getting brighter because you're going to be pouring into the young people before they ever make really life changing financial decisions. So this is fantastic news. I'm just excited to be here. Thank you again, Don, for having me. My name is Coach P. Coffee Brown. I'm a certified master life coach. I reside in the great state of Texas by way of Houston currently. And our focal point for our coaching is to help creators, collaborators, and entrepreneurs understand that it's not optional, but mandatory that you have a published work, something that separates you from the masses, something that people can gravitate towards to find out more about you, how they can take advantage of your products and services, and the treasure that lies from whatever you provide. And it's imperative that you understand the importance of that and get that done. And that's what we do. We focus on that. We also have a ladies boutique. We're going to be focusing into tapping into the fellas at a later date. But right now, currently, we want to enhance your professional and personal appearance when you walk out the door each every day. I want you to be a walking billboard representing not only beauty, boldness, and bravery in how you look. Your look is everything. People judge us by how we appear. And so we want to make sure that when they have that judgment, that they're making the right judgment based on how incredible you look. So with that being said, again, I am Coach P. Coffee Brown here in the great state of Texas by way of Houston, and you can never have a good conversation without a great cup of coffee. I yield back to the fantastic, incomparable Reverend Don.
Oh my goodness. Listen, folks, we are showing you right here in the P.I.L.L Method Club. We're going to reset the room right now. You're in the P.I.L.L Method Club. Go ahead and click that greenhouse at the top if you're not following the club, because we're giving out the sauce here. We're giving out the whole game. We're ending financial violence, because financial violence is when we think we're doing the right thing financially, that we're being taught by bankers and financial gurus, and it turns out that is exactly the wrong thing to do. But we believe it's the right thing. That's financial violence. So, folks, when somebody is hurting you and you know it's hurting you, you can walk away. But if somebody is hurting you and you don't know it's hurting you, how do you walk away? Because we're doing this thing, we're doing it over and over and over again, and we never, ever understand for our entire lives that we're doing something that hurts us. Let me show you something else that is considered financial violence. We're going to take a look at this loan right now, because here's what I heard on the news yesterday. And I'm telling you, this is financial advice given out nationally. And it's so commonplace, everybody believes it, but no numbers are associated with it to prove it's true. I want you to think about every piece of financial advice you've ever that you've ever received. And did anybody give you the numbers to prove to you that this was the right thing to do, and that if you change, this is how it's going to benefit you financially with numbers? Okay, so here's what I heard. If you need to buy a house now, okay, it would be best if you can wait for the interest rates to come down. If you need to buy a car or a house, but if you can't wait, then go ahead, get it at the higher interest rate, and then when things come down, you can refinance. All right. If you've heard that, put a number 1 in the chat. If you've ever heard that, go ahead and purchase now, but you can always refinance to a lower rate when the time comes. Can you put a number 1 in the chat if you've ever heard that? Anybody? Okay. All right. Rita says she's heard that. All right. And I'm going to tell you again, that's financial violence. That is financial violence. Don't do it. Okay. Here's why. I'm going to show you a couple of things. Okay. Number 1, let's say we're going to refinance this loan. We're at $400,000 at 6%. I'm going to show you something. $400,000 at 6%. And generally, we're in a 5 to 7 year cycle when the interest rates are low enough for us to refinance. They said if you can save on 1.5 to 2 points, go ahead and refi. Okay. So if we're into this thing 5 years, let me show you what happens when we're in it 5 years. You've paid this loan down by $27,000, $27,782.43, and paid $116,000 in interest. If you want to see this and you're new to the room, go to ice10kvideos.com and you can watch it on YouTube. Just click on the live presentation, okay? $27,000 paid on your loan by when $116,000 has been paid to interest. What? So, but Veronica says, why refi when you can pay it off? Listen, Veronica, you are so wise, because our average client pays off in about 7 years. So, but the bank wants you to stay in this loan for 5 years and then refinance it. Okay. Most of my clients are paid off in 7 to 9 years, but by not knowing, you're just waiting around making the regular payments to wait for a refinance. So now you have paid this loan down by $27,000. So now you're at $372,000. Okay. That's how much you owe on the loan. So we're going to copy that. We're going to duplicate the tab. Okay. And we're going to tell the program, this is how much I owe now. I'm going to put in what I owe now. We're going to paste it in. Okay. 372,000. And let's just say we're fortunate enough to drop this down to 4%. All right. And refinance it. But we get a new 30-year loan. But here's our old payment here, $2,398.20. So we go from $23.98 to our new payment of $17.77. Oh my gosh. Isn't that isn't that great? Veronica say, yeah, like being close to the finish line and forfeiting the race. You could be 2 years away from paying it off if you use the P.I.L.L method. But if you do it the bank's way, you're 5 years in, and now you're going to start the clock all over again. And you turn a 30-year loan into a 35-year loan by refinancing at this point. So watch this, folks. I'm bringing down the payment because that's what we're told. We're bringing down the payment. But here's the other thing. There's one thing I left out. How much it cost to refi this. It costs about $10,000. So we got to go from 372,000. Okay. And then we're going to, let's just do 372,000. Okay. Plus 10,000 would make it 382,000, because they're going to tell you to to roll the fee into the loan. So it's 382,000, and we go from 1777 to 1824. Still cheaper than the other loan, okay? But here's what I want to show you. Because you added $10,000 to this loan, okay? $10,000 to this loan. Now you have to pay back the first 10,000 to get back to the original 372,000. And this is the financial violence part. 372,000. Watch this. How long does it take us to pay off $10,000? The first $10,000 isn't paid off for the first 18 months. It takes 18 months to pay off $10,000 to get back down to the 372,000 you were at when you first refied the thing. How much interest are you paying on the $10,000 for the closing cost? $22,647. Folks, if you borrow $10,000 and you pay back that $10,000 plus $10,000 in interest, that's 100% interest all day. If you pay $10,000 interest on a $10,000 loan, that's 100%. If you pay $20,000 interest on a $10,000 loan, that's 200% interest. Folks, is paying 200% interest on a $10,000 loan, is that financial violence when you were thinking it was only 4%? Is that financial violence? When you thought it was 4 and it actually ends up being 200% interest. Could the bank have told you, could the people who own the bank that you're getting ready to finance this for, and they're telling you to roll in the fee, could they have told you up front, by the time you pay back this $10,000, you're going to pay us $22,000 in interest? Could they have told you that? Could they have told you you're going to be actually paying 200% interest on this $10,000 loan? They could have, but they didn't. Look at this. Chantal says, like getting physically thrown through the bank vault. Oh my goodness. Folks, we're talking about financial violence today. How do we end financial violence? Now, here's another thing that we've been told. Take your high interest loans, cash out refi, all right, and roll that money into your loan. Let's just say, all right, I'm not going to do a whole new thing. Let's just say that on this loan, we have actually paid it down far enough that we have enough equity that for the 382,000, we have rolled in $60,000 worth of debt into this loan. Has anybody ever heard of you can save money by cashing out, taking cash out of your house, out of your equity, and paying off these loans, and you can save $1,000 to $2,000 a month on payments you never have to make anymore, and you pay off all of this other debt, and it's at this new low interest rate. You're paying off 10% loans, 15% loans, and some even 27% credit cards, and then you're led to believe you're rolling it into the mortgage at 4%. Veronica says that is financial massacre. Okay, folks, watch this. To pay back the $60,000, okay, that you think is you're saving yourself a ton of interest. What happens? I'm going to go down to $60,000 here, folks. To pay off $60,000, it takes 94 months. 94 months to pay off $60,000. And you're going to pay $110,000 interest on that money that used to be those high interest loans. But you're going to pay $110,000 interest on $60,000. So, folks, if you that's like 180% interest. So you've taken your 27% loan, your 10% loans, your 15% loans, your high interest loans, roll them into the mortgage for a new 180% loan. You can roll in that $60,000 in, but you're going to pay back $110,000 in interest. Flame, help me get this idea across that this is financial violence that we're being subjected to, thinking all the time we're doing the right thing. Flame, are you still here?
Man, right here, man. Because you're exactly right, man. When you catch this violence and you're getting hit across the head over and over and over again, and when I guess what a lot of times what you guys can I get to 50 shares is 46 shares. Listen, one thing that we do know is that you getting across the head from the people that you presume that know this information. They wear a suit and tie, and they walk around there and they give you a title, or call a director or a manager or a finance officer. They give you all of these things, but yet and still, the person that you're listening to is the person that is being hit across the head as well. Because when they get off of work themselves, they're the ones that's paying these 30-year mortgages as well. So you actually taking information in from a person that's got hit over the head. Understand, people that work at financial institutions, what I always tell people is they're being trained. They're being trained. There is no other way around it. When you go to a job, you get a training, right? And they train you on their thoughts and ideals and their rules and their procedures. That's the only reason that you're working there, is because you decided to abide by their rules. The thing about Mr. Don is what he's teaching you is the stuff that they're not teaching in the banking institutions, and that you guys can understand about how not to get hit on the head, right? And when I'm saying not get hit on the head, I'm saying with these high interests that goes across it, understanding that from the first example when he talked about this room this morning was going from 3% to 51%. Then he came back again and told you, hey, you can have a $400,000 mortgage and end up paying around $450,000 in interest charges on a $400,000 mortgage. That itself makes that over 100%. So now these are the things that we're trying to get you to go across. Listen, if you guys have gained, listen, I got 46 shares still. Ain't nobody got love for Mr. Don. Iceman, interest cancellation expert. It ain't no love in the room. You got to be kidding me. It's 46 shares in the room, and he said all of that. What he just said. Not only did he say it, see, that's one thing for a pair of lips can say anything. He actually showed it to you in real time. And so your guys are not doing that. I need you guys to go to the YouTube channel right now, right? Credit Goddess, tell them. Can you tell them what the YouTube channel is? A coffee? Can you tell them what the YouTube channel is so they can follow along?
They can follow along on 10K. I'm sorry, ice10kvideos.com. That's ice10kvideos.com.
And you guys are getting so much information in here. I want to need you guys to go right now to ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com, so you can see it in its entirety. So he ain't just over here just bumping them gums just because, because he could talk very well. He's showing you in detail. And I think that is where the lackluster of the stuff comes in at. You always got the saying talking about, if I knew better, I would have known better, or something, whatever y'all say. They didn't teach me this in school. Or what's the other one say? My parents didn't teach me this, because ain't nobody know this stuff, right? Don knows it. So what we got to do is we got to share it out to the public, so can't nobody else say the words they didn't know, right? If you talk about nobody taught you, how about you teach somebody else? And the way that you can teach them is by sharing a room and let Mr. Don teach them. Can you get us some 50 shares? I got 47 shares. Ain't no way we got 47 shares after all that information. I need 3 more shares in this room to get us to 50 shares, period. 3 more shares. I need 3 people to step to the plate to go ahead and share the room. Share the room. I need 3 people to go to the plate and step up and share the room. It's just that simple, right? And I think that when we're talking like this, we're only talking because our admiration for people that got the information and they're willing to share it across the board. You know what I mean? Coffee, don't you feel the same way? Like folks can just share the information. It's digital currency. Man, this is crazy.
Yes, sir. I did share the room, and I'm going to go ahead and reshare again so that others will know to come on in the room to grab this information. And you're right, but sometimes, Flame, some people just don't. They don't really get it in the moment, but it's okay. They gonna get it. From They gonna get it. The number is coming up. We got one more soul. We just need one more soul to share, and we'll be at that magic Jubilee 50 number. So, Don, we're going to yield this mic back to you.
All right, folks, listen, we're almost there. There it is, 50 shares. Thank you very much,
We're
everybody.
there, Don. We are there.
Everybody, we're here getting ready to get back into this thing. We're talking about financial violence today. So we have some people here online, and we've got Tamara. Thank you so much, because Tamara has just said, love all the information you're sharing, always learning something new. That's what happens when you come to the P.I.L.L method, folks. You're always going to learn something new. We're talking about financial violence today and how to end financial violence. But if you can't identify it, how can you end it? We need to identify the financial violence. So I've gone over some things that are financially violent, but they're violent because we see it as something good to do when in fact it is something bad to do. And Flame, you mentioned something about training bank workers. Flame, you've been doing what you've been doing a long time, and the longer you do it, the better you get at it. The longer you do it, the better you get at it, right?
That's correct.
When somebody works at the bank for a long time and they're being trained to work there, when they get promoted, what happens? What happens when they get promoted?
They got to get retrained.
Retrained
all over again.
They don't get better at what they're doing?
Yeah. They get better, but they got to get retrained and whatever they got to. That's why when people say, "Man, I worked at a bank for 15 years," 15 years is a very long time. 20 years, and when they change from banking institution to banking institution, they have to go back through a training again.
Wow. So, folks, what they're getting trained on is not information that helps you. They're getting trained on information that ultimately helps the bank, but they are learning how to present it in a way that it looks appealing and it sounds appealing, but in fact, it makes the bank money hand over fist. Not a little bit more. I mean, a ton more. We just showed how the bank has taught us this is the very thing to do, and we're paying 200% interest on a loan. Do you realize that's more interest than payday loans? Here are people with perfect credit. I'm talking about 800 credit scores who you would never see them in one of those payday loan outfits. And here they go to the bank, people with suits on, people with pens, okay, writing stuff down. And we're paying 200% interest and we don't even realize it. That's way more than payday loans. Is that financial violence or what? How are we going to end that? Listen, if you have any questions, come up to the stage. If you have any questions about any of this, please raise your hand, come to the stage so that you can ask your question. Listen, Don, I've heard that we should do this. Is this true? Okay. Now, somebody in the chat here online asked, should we transfer our balances to a 0% credit card? Well, that's something you can do. You can do that. And that would definitely save you some interest along the way. But those are things that are common to do. Has everybody heard of 0% interest credit cards? And everybody's going to say yes. Okay. So here's what I want to tell you, something else about financial violence. Financial violence gives you something you can do, but it's not the best thing you can do. Something you can do, but it's not the best thing you can do. You can save some interest by using a 0% credit card, but it's not the most amount of interest you can save. I'm going to show you one last thing here, one other thing about what to do, about how to handle financial violence. One other thing that we were told to do about refinancing to a lower interest rate. Remember, I talked about that? Oh man, that is financial violence all the way around. Lowering your interest rate actually means you're making it harder to pay off the loan, and people who own the bank understand that. Why would I just did a thing a little while ago on our landlords smarter than the banks, because landlords never lower the rent. Landlords never lower the rent, but bankers all the time tell you can save money by lowering your mortgage payment. Bankers lower your mortgage payment, but landlords never lower the rent. Are landlords smarter than the banks? Oh my gosh, folks. If the banker is lowering your payment, you better believe they're making some money on it. Let me show you something about refinancing this loan. Okay, refinancing the loan. Okay, so we're going to go back here to we're going back to $400,000 at 6%. Okay, $400,000 at 6%. Now I want you to remember this. Here's what banks don't want you to know. You want to control the principal payment, not the interest rate. You want to control the principal payment, not the interest rate. In fact, I know what I'm going to talk about on Sunday. How you can make your own interest rate. On Sunday, make your own interest rate. Make the interest rate up yourself. How can you do that? I'm going to show you on Sunday. Okay, how you can make your own interest rate on Sunday. But we're going to stick with this right now, the financial violence part about refinancing the loan. So you want to control the principal payment. So I want to show you something here. At 6%, your principal payments are in the $400 range. And if you've been in here before, you know that if I'm on payment number one, I make payment number one, I can see the principal payment on number two. If I give the bank this $400.19 early, then I skip right over this $1,998 and a penny in interest that I never have to pay. And my next mortgage payment is actually on line 3 for the next month. By prepaying the $400, I cancel $1,998 in interest I never have to pay by prepaying the $400. Now, if I take a look at this same loan and look at how much money I would pay in 1 year, I would pay this loan down by $4,912 and $3, $23,866 in interest. Here's the key to this, folks. If you want to end financial violence here, keep this in mind. Interest payments I skip don't matter. I don't care how high the interest payments are. If I can skip them, they don't matter. Put that in the chat. Interest payments you skip don't matter. I need to get this out here because somebody's going to come in here and watch all this later and they want to know, what does that mean? You need to focus on interest payments you skip don't matter. Interest payments you skip don't matter. All right. So now I've got the principal payment here, and what you want to do is control the principal payment. Keep the principal payments tiny, no matter what it does to the interest payments. Okay, keep the principal payments tiny, and it doesn't matter what you do with the interest payments. So I got $400 principal payments, and at the end of 1 year, if I add up all the principal payments for 1 year, it comes to $4,912.02. Here's my question. If you have it, this is just an example. I'm not trying to teach you my program right now. We just need to understand the financial violence part. If I know that eventually I'm going to pay $4,912.02, my question is, do I have to pay it over 12 monthly installments? Or if I had it, could I give it to the bank all at one time on line 1? If I gave it to the bank on line 1, do you realize I'm paid down to line 12 in 1 month? And I skip out on all the interest between line 2 and line 12. These are $1,900 payments, $1,900 payments plus. And I just skipped out on 11 of them that I never have to pay. Because remember, interest payments you skip don't matter. Interest payments you skip don't matter. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the same loan at 4%. Watch this, at 4%. I'm switching over here now. We're changing it to 4%, same loan at 400,000. We're going to change it. Duplicate the tab. All right, now we're going to lower this thing to 4%. Now, this is what we're longing for, folks. We're lowering it to 4%. Ooh, you know what? Let's take it all the way down to 3. That's got to be better. Let's take it all the way down to 3%. We're going from 6%. We're slashing the interest rate in half to 3%. That's got to be better, because I heard that on the news yesterday. I'm telling you, I heard it on the news that if you get in this high interest rate now, refinance to the lower interest rate later. This is what you do when you refinance to the lower interest rate. My payment now is $1,686.42 as opposed to the $2,398.20. Folks, if you can afford this payment, you're better off here. Never refinance it to get a lower interest rate, because here's what happens. Look at the principal payment now. If I want to get rid of one line on this mortgage, I have to come up with $688.14 now to get rid of one line, as opposed to $400 payments. Because when I lower the interest rate, I increase the principal payment, and the principal payment is the money I attack the loan with. But they say, well, Don, what about the interest payments over here? My interest payments are $1,900, and over here, my interest payments are look at my interest payments are $900, $1,000 less. Remember, folks, interest payments you skip don't matter. I don't care what they want to charge you. If you skip over them and you never have to pay them, what do you care? What do you care if you never have to pay them, if you're skipping them? So it is easier to pay off this loan at the higher interest rate, and it's easier and cheaper if you attack the loan aggressively with your leftover money after paying your bills. We can show you how to turn this 6% loan into a 1% loan or better, and you don't even have to refinance it. That's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday, how to make your own interest rate. Make your own interest rate. Come on. So listen, Credit Goddess, are you still with me? Are you talking to other folks? Because she's got a lot of clients. When she comes into the room, y'all stop calling her and getting help from her when she's in my room, because I want to talk to her. But she's never going to hang up on you. She's going to talk to you. Miss Credit Goddess, when you can, jump back in here, because we want to talk about credit score. Flame, can you talk to us about credit score?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Talk to us.
Okay. Most people believe that a good credit score, a high credit score, is important. So I'm going to do whatever I can to get the highest credit score available. What do you say to that about focusing on your credit score? What do you say to that?
Number one, that's gonna lose my interest off the rip. Credit scores, but but seriously, it's never about the credit score. So I want people to understand that in its entirety. It's all about the contents which goes into the credit profile. So for anybody that really understands this, and let me give it to you in its entirety, is that you got two kids. Right now is the time for kids are going back to school, and before this time have occurred, they probably went in the process of trying to apply for different universities to see if they can get into that school. But one thing that we do know is that you understand about a high GPA, and people rave about having a great GPA, whether they have a 4.0, whether they have a 3.9, or whether they got a 4.2, right? These are the GPAs that students accumulate over time based upon the classes in which they took. And that will give them, the higher GPA gives them the more advantage of getting into certain colleges and things of that nature. But now, for example, there's a kid now, one has a 4.0 GPA and another one has a 3.65 GPA, right? They both apply to go to a school called Brown, right? Brown is a prestigious Ivy League school, which pretty much everyone knows about. And the kid with the 4.0 GPA takes classes like chemistry, takes classes like algebra 2, takes biology classes. He got some good recommendation classes that's on his schedule. Now, the kid that has a 3.65 GPA, he's taking physics 2. He's also taking advanced algebra and calculus, and he's also got an advanced chemistry class. Now, they both apply to go to Brown. The one with the 4.0 does not get accepted, but the one with the 3.65 does get accepted. Now, how so? It's because it was based upon the catalog classes that they took in high school, which kind of recommended them to see if they were going to be outbound to that particular school. The one with the 3.65 took more advanced classes. So even though he has a lower GPA, his classes were more substantial when it came into getting into that particular school. The one with the 4.0 doesn't show any growth pertaining to the type of classes that he's took. So now when we add these things around and we correlate it back to credit, depending on the things that are on your credit profile, because you can be manipulated by actually having a great score, and the great score can come into a cumulative of different ways. One can be considered when you have an authorized user or you use a couple of them to enhance the score. It's kind of almost like enhancing the figure, right? So when they're doing this on the outside, it looks very beautiful, but in the inside, you're still clogged up with calories. With fattening arteries and things of that nature, right? And it kind of goes the same way when you do all of these other things. So that's why it's more in particular to have a great credit profile, meaning that the particular banks that you're dealing with, the type of accounts that you have, and many of the accounts that you have, that you can actually correlate it with that. So that gives it a bit more balanced attack on a lender to see if you can very well handle the particular loan that comes their way, because that you've been embedded in all areas, whether it was an auto loan, whether it was an auto loan, whether it was a mortgage, whether it was credit cards, or what type of credit cards that you have, as opposed to a person that may have a 780 credit score and they just have one thing on their credit profile, and that's an auto loan. So hopefully that gives a person more in detail about how that works.
Thank you very much, Flame. So, folks, I've got about 15 minutes left in the room. We're going to have to let the people go online. We're going to have to let them go at the top of the hour. We are in the P.I.L.L Method Club. Go ahead and click that green mansion at the top and follow your moderators. Okay, follow me, follow Flame, follow Credit Goddess, because anytime we're in a room, and click that always button. So anytime we're in a room, that you'll be able to come in, you'll get a notification, and you'll be able to see what's going on and get more of this valuable information. And we have somebody, let's see, Virendra, okay, on our YouTube channel, asking a couple of questions here, and we're going to end it with this, and then we're going to see what we can do about financial violence. And what about the rationale behind financial influencers suggesting that we put all our extra money into investments and don't pay down a cheap loan like a 3% mortgage? And I have that on my screen right now, a $260,000 mortgage at 3%. Thank you very much for this question. It's called the Smith maneuver. It sounds like a good idea. Okay, it's called the Smith maneuver when you have a cheap 3% mortgage, and then you take your extra money and put it into an investment making 7, 8, 9, 10, even 15%. So why pay off a 3% mortgage when you can take your money and put it into something that's making 15%? So that's the question. So financial planners have been teaching that for years. And here's the first thing, because now I had somebody ask me that once, because they brought a potential client brought their financial planner to a meeting. They said, "Can I bring my financial planner?" I said, "Yes, please do." Financial planners ask exactly this: why should my client pay off a 3% mortgage when I'm making him 15% in the market? I said, your client shouldn't do that. Your client shouldn't pay off a 3% mortgage if you are making them 15% in the market. But your client isn't paying a 3% mortgage. Your client is paying a 51% mortgage. When I showed her the numbers, guess what? She didn't say another word after that. Not another word. Here's what's going on, folks. When you are saving for the future, work with somebody who understands compound interest and knowing what your plans are for the future, and put that amount of money away for your future. Make sure that you're saving adequately enough so that when you retire, you do not outlive your money. Okay, that's one thing. So we're not touching the money that's being used to get you ready for retirement. We don't want to touch that. But because we're saving money for the future, should that mean that we're paying 51% interest on our loans? Should we have to put up with that just to save money for the future? Here's what I'm saying. There are other monies that are available, and I'm going to break it down for you in the last few minutes here. Okay. Number one, we're going to break it down into 4 categories. Okay. And Flame calls it, he has 4 best friends, and I got these 4 categories. Okay. Category number 1. All right. Category number 1, when it comes to your money, your money that goes to lifestyle. Number 1 is lifestyle money. What money are we spending for our families to have fun, and figure out what the right amount of money is to go to lifestyle? That's number 1. Other programs put it last. The P.I.L.L method puts lifestyle first, because once people start talking to me, they're wondering, I like to go shopping. I like to do some things. We like to go on vacation. Are you saying, Donna, that I can't do that anymore? I'm saying, oh, no, I am not saying that. In fact, we want to make sure that's a vital part of your budget. Because let me tell you something. You put yourself on any kind of restrictive diet, what's going to happen after a while? Yeah, you got it. You're going to break that diet. You're going to come off of it, and then you're going to end up gaining more weight than you lost. Okay. So what we want to do is make sure that your family has money to make memories with and to have fun with. That's number 1. Number two category is putting money away for savings for the future. There you go. There it is. And don't touch it. Figure out what that number is. As somebody who is skilled in that can help you to say, how much money do you want to have when you retire so that you don't outlive your money? So they're going to give you the right numbers to put in there for that. All right. We don't touch that. Number 3, make sure you're at least making the minimum payments on your loans. That's what they're telling you anyway. Make sure you make the minimum payments on your loans. And then number 4 category is make sure you can pay all your other bills, like food, gasoline, insurance, cell phone, those things. Make sure that all the other bills are paid. Now, after you do all 4 of those things, that covers everything that needs to be done. Now there's going to be some money left over. That's the money we use to kill interest. Oh my gosh. Even if I have $400 left over on this loan, an extra $447 saves me over almost $650 worth of interest. I don't need much money to kill a massive amount of interest. Take care of everything else, and then learn what your small amounts of money can do for you that are left over. And we can help you. We will help you to find out what is the right amount of money to put towards the debt. Here's how we do that. With our program, which is an artificially intelligent computer program that takes a look at all the money that you have left over after you've taken care of the 4 things that must be taken care of. And then we put that money in savings. And for each individual, it's different. So we put that money in savings and we keep it in savings until the right month, and we take it out. And the right month is going to be different for everybody. So we don't put the extra money on debt every single month. So now we take the money out in the right month, and then on the right day of the month, we apply a certain amount of that money to the proper loan. The average family has 13 different loans. So which one do we start on? Which one? And some people say, well, we're going to start on the low, the least, the balance that's the least, or the interest rate that's the highest. That is the wrong way to look at it. The way to look at it is which one is going to save us the most amount of interest cost. Interest cost is important. So let me give you an example of how to save interest cost. I had a client once who had a $1,200 credit card at 12%, $1,200 at 12%. And they were saying that my computer program was ignoring it. Okay. And they said, well, why are we ignoring that? And because I never pay credit card interest. I always pay off my credit cards. I said, well, let's do a little bit of math. 12% interest annually means 1% a month. You add up 1% a month, it comes to 12% annually. So if you pay off the $1,200 this month, you're not saving 12%, you're saving 1% on $1,200. Congratulations for paying off that $1,200. You just saved yourself $12 by paying off the $1,200. You just saved yourself $12 in interest. But on the mortgage that we're looking at, let's see, it's a $260,000 loan at 12%. I'm looking at cumulative principal here, and the closest thing I can come to is about $1,300. Okay, let's just say it's this $1,300 instead. Okay, $1,300 instead. And instead of paying off the credit card, what if I chose to pay off $1,300 on my mortgage, knock off 3 payments, and save $1,900 in interest instead of $12 in interest? So the question then becomes, would you want to pay your bank, your credit card company, $12 so that you could use the money to put on the mortgage so you could save $1,900? Folks, we're combating financial violence here. And the only way we can combat financial violence is through education and math. You've got to do the math. And folks, there's so much math that's going on here. Our program does all the math for you and tells you which loans to attack, what month to attack it in, and how to do what it is you need to do. In fact, and I'm going to play something for you right now, and we're going to come back and we're going to finish this up. I need you to see, if you want to see this video, go to ICE 10K videos right now. We got 17 people in here. Go to ice10kvideos.com and you'll be able to watch this video that we're getting ready to play on YouTube. But if you want to watch it on Facebook, you can. If you want to watch it on Twitter, you can. If you want to watch it on LinkedIn, you can. Just go to those platforms and search P.I.L.L Method and you can watch this video. This is my brand new television commercial that went live on Monday, and we're going to talk about what you could do about financial violence when Eric Thomas is done speaking. Play it, please. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. Well, one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to PILLmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today. You heard it here, folks. Request your savings and earnings report today. Go to ice10k.com. Let me go ahead and put that on the screen right now. Listen, I want, if you want to get this, you want to get the new slavery, all right, that I have at the top of the screen now, it's on my website. So you can actually Google it or go to my website, pillmethod.com, and go to the blogs and you can get this, all right? Because I'm getting ready to change this for click on it now if you want it and save it, all right? So I'm getting ready to change this to ice, ice 10k.com. Come on. All right. There we go. Ice 10k.com. There we go, and add the link there. So go to ice10k.com. You can then click on where it says get a savings and earnings report. All right. And you can know the month, day, and year you can be debt free. We're ending financial violence with education and technology. You want to end finance? So I just showed you that everything we've been taught to do. I wish I could talk about everything, but we only have 2 hours here, folks. Everything that you can do to save money and to manage your debt by the banks and by the financial gurus, it's all wrong. All wrong. You want to do something different and something better so that you can manage your interest cost. And this is how we do it. Click on that link, get your savings and earnings report done. My staff will then give you a call and then we'll set up consultation for you. I want to thank everyone who spent time with us today. And remember, we're going to be back here not on Friday, but on Sunday. Friday, I'm in Atlanta talking to high school students. So pray for my travel. Pray that we do well there. And listen, we're going to be right back here on Sunday. I'm saying goodbye to everybody online. See you on Sunday.